Something strange is happening in Carolina, and the rest of the NFL isn't paying attention. While pundits fixate on more glamorous franchises and dismiss the Panthers as a rebuilding afterthought, something deeper is taking shape in Charlotte. There's no panic in the locker room, no desperation in the front office. What you feel instead is quiet certainty, confidence, as if this team knows something the rest of the league doesn't. It's easy to miss if you're focused on surface-level narratives. Last season was a mess. The Panthers were a disaster on offense, Bryce Young looked overwhelmed, and the receiving corps drew more jokes and fear. But this offseason, the tone has shifted. Not publicly, but internally. While analysts were handing out mediocre offseason grades and ranking Carolina near the bottom of every power list, the Panthers were at work. No headlines, no noise, just methodical, focused building. And now, with training camp blooming, you can sense it. This team is about to make people uncomfortable. Start with Bryce Young. After a difficult rookie campaign, he returns to a system that finally seems built around him, not in spite of him. The offensive line has been reshaped, bigger, stronger, meaner. The backfield now includes Rico Dowdley, a powerful runner with burst the Panthers haven't had in years, and most critically, the receiver room has undergone a transformation. Last year, Bryce didn't have weapons who matched his tempo or instincts. This year, the fit is different. This year, it looks like a team built to compete. Enter Tyrone McMillan, the rookie with RF1 traits and a pro-ready mindset. At 6'4" with elite body control, he already moves like a seasoned starter. Xavier Legette, the explosive vertical threat, has returned sharper and faster. And then there's Jalen Coker, a second-year receiver who quietly led the team in separation metrics last season. These aren't just athletic projects, they're ascending talents who understand timing and leverage. With them on the field, Bryce Young suddenly looks like a quarterback with options. But that's only half the picture. Add in the veterans, and the receiving corps turns from a development project into a legitimate threat. Adam Thielen might not break Twitter with flashy plays, but within the walls of NFL locker rooms, his reputation is gold. Reliable, crisp, and unshakably professional, he still moves chains and punishes zone coverage. And then there's Hunter Renfrow, who brings nuance to the slot, an underneath weapon who knows how to get open when it matters. And keep your eye on Jimmy Horn Jr., whose speed and agility make him a wild card with game-breaking upside. Together, this isn't just a collection of names. It's a room built on balance. Tall targets, quick separators, reliable veterans, and explosive youth. Different sizes, different styles, but the same goal: to give Bryce Young the freedom to read, react, and attack. So why is the national media still ranking this group near the bottom? ESPN gave Carolina a C for its offseason. Some outlets placed their wide receiver unit 31st out of 32 teams. That's not just disrespectful, it's lazy. Because if you actually watch what's happening, it's clear. This group is deeper, faster, and more aligned than it's ever been in the Young era. What the critics don't understand is that chemistry is what elevates a group from talented to dangerous. And Carolina's wideouts aren't just showing flashes, they're building something real. It's not just about athleticism, it's about trust. Bryce Young has spent this offseason glued to his receivers, on the field, in the film room, and even away from the facility. That kind of investment pays off in the moments that matter most. Xavier Legette, for example, already moves like he knows Bryce's timing. Coker, who earned Young's trust late last season, has only grown more dependable. And then Adam Thielen, entering his second season with Bryce, looks completely in sync. The routes are cleaner, the throws are crisper, and those crucial third down conversions, the ones that disappeared last year, are starting to resurface in camp reps. Meanwhile, Tyrone McMillan, despite his talent, is still adjusting. He hasn't yet felt the rush of a fourth quarter blitz or the chaos of a broken play, but he's learning fast. And as his chemistry with Bryce develops, the room's ceiling only rises. The rest of the league might not be watching, but inside that building, something is changing. The Panthers aren't hoping anymore. They're preparing. Here's the dilemma at the heart of Carolina's wide receiver room. The most naturally gifted player, the one with the highest ceiling, is also the one who may need the most time to fully integrate. Tyrone McMillan brings elite traits, but he's still learning the language of the NFL. Meanwhile, Xavier Legette and Jalen Coker already have rhythm with Bryce Young, and that head start could mean everything when Week 1 decisions are made. Training camp won't just be a battle for snaps, it'll be a proving ground for timing, trust, and precision. But no matter who lines up on the outside, the success of this offense still hinges on one man, Bryce Young. Because if he takes the next step, if he truly levels up, then the entire Carolina offense levels up with him. Last season was, in one word, chaos. Young was thrown into a system that never gave him a real chance to succeed. The playbook didn't match his strange, protection collapsed too often, and the receiving corps rarely separated. It wasn't just that the rookie struggled, it was that the environment gave him no room to breathe. But now, things are different. This offense has been rebuilt with purpose. The design finally fits the quarterback, not the other way around. You can see it in the details. Bryce now has real outlets, checkdowns like Rico Dowdley to neutralize pressure. He has tall, rangy receivers on the boundary. He has layers to work through, space to manipulate, and time to let plays unfold. For a quarterback built on poise, accuracy, and decision-making, this environment is exactly what he needs. Bryce doesn't have to be a miracle worker anymore. He just has to be himself. And that version of him is starting to reemerge. But with structure comes expectation. The foundation is in place, and now the execution falls squarely on QB1. If Bryce can command this offense with confidence, if his pre-snap reads and post-snap decisions sharpen, then Carolina moves from unpredictable to efficient and possibly dangerous. Because when your quarterback sees the game clearly, the rest of the roster plays faster. Drives stay alive, red zone trips become touchdowns, and the offense dictates tempo instead of reacting to it. But still, even a well-run offense needs help on the other side of the ball. And quietly, Carolina may have made its most significant strides on defense, particularly in the trenches. A year ago, this front seven was soft. They allowed over 3,000 rushing yards and couldn't control the line of scrimmage. So the Panthers retooled, starting in the middle. Derek Brown is healthy again, and when he's fully functional, he demands double teams on nearly every snap. Next to him is Bobby Brown, a physical run stopper who plays with low pad level and heavy hands. Together, they anchor a defensive interior that's built to clog lanes and collapse pockets. That interior pressure is the foundation, and everything else builds from it. Carolina didn't stop there. They reshaped the edge as well. DJ Wonnum and Patrick Jones arrived from Minnesota, both bringing solid production and scheme versatility. They're not headline makers, but they can win matchups, disrupt timing, and hold the edge against the run. And then there's the wild card, Deshaun Wharton. Signed from Kansas City, he's quick off the snap and slippery in gaps. ESPN called his deal an overpay, but they missed the context. Surrounded by veterans like Derek Brown, Wharton won't have to carry the load. He'll be free to do what he does best, attack. Every piece of this defensive rebuild was deliberate. Last season, Carolina couldn't get teams off schedule. They lost first down, they lost leverage, and that loss of momentum crushed their defense's ability to respond. Now, with strength, insight, and depth on the edge, they're better equipped to dictate terms. But there was still one piece missing, a voice on the back end, a player who could lead with presence and precision. That piece just arrived in the form of Trayvon Morgan. After 4 seasons starting in Las Vegas, Morgan brings something Carolina desperately needed: dependability. He's not a highlight machine, but he doesn't miss tackles, doesn't lose assignments, and rarely gets caught out of position. His 87.5 run defense grade last season wasn't a fluke, it was a reflection of his instincts and physicality. For a team that gave up far too many chunk plays, Morgan becomes the steadying force. Not flashy, just effective. So if you're still treating Carolina like a rebuilding project, consider this your final warning. This is not the same team. They've rebuilt from the inside out, with thought, urgency, and a clear direction. And if Bryce Young rises to meet the moment, this Carolina team won't just be better, they'll be a problem.